What are the impacts of overtourism on European cultural heritage? If you've ever visited popular European destinations like Venice, Amsterdam, or Dubrovnik, you might have noticed the crowds and the strain on local life. So, what exactly are the impacts of overtourism on European cultural heritage? Let's start with the physical effects. When too many tourists flock to a destination, it can lead to severe overcrowding. In historic cities like Venice and Dubrovnik, narrow, old streets designed for smaller foot traffic become jam-packed with tourists during the high season. This overcrowding degrades both the visitor and resident experience, with roads becoming gridlocked and long queues forming at attractions. The infrastructure and natural sites also suffer. The constant use of roads, trails, and public facilities accelerates wear and tear, leading to rapid deterioration without routine maintenance. For example, Cambodia's Angkor Wat temple complex, though not in Europe, illustrates this issue well. Heavy foot traffic erodes the ancient stone floors and steps, while touching and climbing damage the intricate carvings. In Europe, similar issues are evident. The Calanques National Park in Marseille has had to implement a reservation system to manage the influx of tourists, highlighting the strain on natural sites. This system has been so successful that it will be kept in place for the next 4 years. Local communities are also heavily affected. Residents in places like Hallstatt and Venice feel their quality of life is threatened by the increasing number of tourists. For instance, Hallstatt hosts 196 overnight tourists per resident, and this number soars to 1,600 with the addition of day visitors. This leads to issues like litter, increased traffic, and skyrocketing prices of goods and property, making it difficult for locals to afford living in their own towns. The cultural integrity of these destinations is another concern. UNESCO officials have warned that if local governments don't implement sustainable tourism measures, protests may spread across Europe. In Venice, a daily tax on visitors was introduced to limit overtourism, but residents opposed it, fearing it would convert the city into an amusement park and attract even more tourists, rather than alleviating the pressures on residents. To manage these impacts, many European cities and towns are taking proactive steps. Amsterdam, for example, has launched a campaign to discourage certain types of tourists, while other destinations are focusing on shifting the attention to lesser-known regions to balance the influx of visitors across the continent. In summary, overtourism in Europe leads to overcrowding, environmental degradation, strain on infrastructure, and a reduced quality of life for residents. It's a complex issue that requires strategic planning and proactive management to ensure that tourism benefits both the local communities and the visitors without compromising the cultural and natural heritage of these destinations.